If one had to rank the most globally renowned Chinese megastars, Bruce Lee would definitely make the top 3. Just how popular was Bruce Lee internationally back in the day? Well, consider this anecdote from American comedian Eddie Griffin. He once attended an outdoor cinema where 2 movies were playing simultaneously on 2 screens. One was an adult film, and the other was Bruce Lee's Fist of Fury. The outcome was striking. Hardly anyone was watching the adult film, while the crowd flocked to the screen showing Fist of Fury. However, Bruce Lee's legendary life came to an abrupt halt after filming just 4 movies. At the tender age of 32, he left behind a multitude of speculations regarding the cause of his death, such as being cursed by the film industry, murdered by a lover, or taking banned substances, among others. What exactly was Bruce Lee's magic that could make the term kung fu a part of the English language? And why did he pass away at such a young age? Today, let's uncover the mysteries surrounding Bruce Lee's life and death.
片巨星李小龍喺昨晚深夜11:30突然去世，享年32。
I said, empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
In the late 1960s, there were hardly any decent films coming out of Hong Kong. Following the peak of Cantonese cinema in the 1950s and 60s, the mid-60s saw Cantonese films plunge into an unprecedented downturn. It wasn't until 1971 that a remarkable film, The Big Boss, emerged. In this movie, Bruce Lee, playing the role of Chung Chao-an, a young man from Tangshan, engages in a life-and-death struggle with the big boss of an ice factory in Bangkok, Thailand. During the fight scenes, Bruce Lee unleashes lightning-fast spinning kicks, flying kicks, and emits high-pitched shouts, creating a continuously thrilling spectacle that gets the blood pumping. After its release, the film raked in a whopping 3 million Hong Kong dollars at the box office, setting a record for the highest-grossing film in Hong Kong's history. In 1972, another kung fu film titled Fist of Fury was released. Bruce Lee's line in the film, "Chinese are not sick men of East Asia," ignited patriotic passion among many Chinese people. Fist of Fury grossed over 4 million and was also honored with the Best Martial Arts Special Award at the 10th Golden Horse Awards. Bruce Lee probably didn't expect these 2 films to be so successful. Prior to this, he had guest starred in several American TV shows and Hollywood movies, all with mediocre responses. Amidst the disappointment in Hollywood, Bruce Lee received an invitation from Raymond Chow, the founder of Golden Harvest Film Company in Hong Kong, which led him to return to Hong Kong to make movies. Seeing the situation was in his favor, Bruce Lee wasted no time and capitalized on his success by writing, directing, and starring in Way of the Dragon in the same year. This film was even more innovative than his previous 2 works, with fight scenes set directly in the Colosseum in Rome, making it the first Hong Kong film to feature scenes shot in Europe. When Way of the Dragon was released in Taiwan, it also shattered all previous box office records. In 1973, Bruce Lee collaborated with Warner Bros. To shoot the kung fu film Enter the Dragon, marking his first leading role in a Hollywood movie. Bruce Lee showcased not only his skills with the Shaolin Kime staff and Filipino arnis sticks, but also wielded the nunchaku, introducing Chinese martial arts to Western audiences for the first time. Ultimately, Enter the Dragon, with a budget of less than $1 million, grossed $200 million at the box office, not only revitalizing the declining Hong Kong film market and reviving the kung fu genre, but also propelling Bruce Lee to the status of a global film icon. Meanwhile, overnight, martial arts schools in Hong Kong thrived. From kids to adults, everyone was eager to learn kung fu, and they wanted to imitate Bruce Lee's iconic loud shout. Everyone admired his commanding presence and refusal to back down. Bruce Lee's iconic yellow jumpsuit from the movie Game of Death was replicated by American director Quentin Tarantino in Kill Bill. Subsequently, Bruce Lee became the inspiration for Rock Lee in Naruto, the prototype for Shang-Chi, the Chinese kung fu hero in Marvel, and the archetype for martial law in the video game Tekken. Bruce Lee's improvisational martial arts style shattered the traditional approach to martial arts film production, even influencing improvisational forms in rap music, street dance, and parkour. Some might wonder, what made Bruce Lee so popular? What set his performances apart? Those who have seen Bruce Lee's movies would know that his fight scenes not only blended Eastern and Western martial arts, but also had an element of entertainment. He could convey rich information through gestures, expressions, and presence, demonstrating absolute confidence. His movements varied in speed and intensity, creating tension, and the switching between long and close shots added to the sense of urgency. Moreover, Bruce Lee was clever. He knew how to craft a memorable character. He opted for the eye-catching yellow and black striped jumpsuit, wielded the iconic weapon nunchaku, complemented by kicks, nose rubbing, a stylish ending pose, and his signature wata shout, thus giving birth to the classic Bruce Lee persona. What really makes Bruce Lee stand out is that he never relied on special effects or fancy martial arts choreography in his films. There were no trampolines or wirework either. He kept it real, making those fight scenes pack a punch and feel genuine. Just when everyone thought this was just the beginning of Bruce Lee's legendary life, and audiences were about to experience even more surprises, a week before the release of Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee, who had only starred in 4 martial arts films, tragically passed away. On the 20th of July, 1973, during the filming of Game of Death, Bruce Lee, aged just 32, passed away unexpectedly. The hospital declared the time of death to be 11:38 p.m. On the morning of the 21st of July, Linda Lee Cadwell, Bruce Lee's wife, held a press conference to announce that Bruce Lee had passed away suddenly at home the previous night, with her and their 2 children by his side. 2 of Bruce Lee's close friends also confirmed Linda's statement. However, astute reporters quickly discovered that they were lying. Journalists uncovered the ambulance records showing Bruce Lee being taken to the hospital and found that Linda's account of Bruce Lee's time of death, condition, and other details didn't match up with the medical records at all. A few days later, the Star Daily, Chingpo Daily from Hong Kong, suddenly exposed that Bruce Lee did not have an accident at home, and his wife Linda was not by his side when he passed away. He died on the bed of actress Betty Ting Pei. The phrase, "died on Betty Ting Pei's bed," sparked wild speculation. Moreover, Betty Ting Pei had previously been rumored to be involved with the married Bruce Lee, so this news quickly exploded across Hong Kong. 3 years after the incident, Betty Ting Pei even starred in the movie Bruce Lee and Me, recounting the entire process from their acquaintance to their love affair and the unfortunate event. The film even included intimate scenes, which further stirred controversy over their relationship. Many criticized Betty Ting Pei for exploiting and capitalizing on Bruce Lee. Linda turned a blind eye to Bruce Lee's affair. In her view, Bruce Lee's involvement with Betty Ting Pei was merely for excitement and novelty. According to Linda's recollection, on July 20th, 1973, at 1:30 p.m., after they had finished lunch together, Bruce Lee went to his study to read. Linda had plans to go shopping with a friend, and before she left, Bruce Lee told her that he would be discussing the script for the new movie Game of Death with Raymond Chow later, and he wouldn't be coming home for dinner. Linda had no idea at the time that this would be the last thing Bruce Lee said to her. What's more, Bruce Lee withheld a piece of information from her. Betty Ting Pei would also be present during the script discussion. Bruce Lee once proposed to Raymond Chow, the founder of Golden Harvest Film Company, and also the screenwriter of Game of Death, that he wanted to arrange a role for Betty Ting Pei in the movie. Raymond Chow agreed. In 2014, Betty Ting Pei sat down for an interview with a popular talk show where she recounted the events that occurred back then. On the afternoon of the 20th of July, 1973, at 3 p.m., Raymond Chow arrived at Bruce Lee's home to discuss matters regarding the film shoot. This was less than 9 hours before Bruce Lee's death. At 5 p.m., Bruce Lee and Raymond Chow arrived together at Betty Ting Pei's home to continue their discussion about the movie. At 7:30 p.m., the 3 of them had planned to have dinner together, but Bruce Lee suddenly felt a headache and wanted to rest for a while. Betty Ting Pei gave him one of her usual painkillers, and Bruce Lee, then went to Betty's room and lay down on the bed for a while Raymond Chow went ahead to the restaurant by himself. At 8:30 p.m., Betty Ting Pei went into the room to check on Bruce Lee and found him sound asleep. By 9 o'clock, she went in to check on him again and discovered that he was still sleeping deeply and couldn't be woken up no matter what. She quickly called Raymond Chow. At 9:30, Raymond Chow rushed over and found Bruce Lee unresponsive. Betty Ting Pei quickly called her private doctor. At 10:10, the private doctor, Dr. Zhu Bohuai, arrived. By this time, Bruce Lee showed no signs of life. Dr. Zhu performed CPR, but unfortunately, it was ineffective. Finally, they called an ambulance and informed Bruce Lee's wife, Linda. At 11 o'clock in the evening, Bruce Lee was finally transported to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Hong Kong. Doctors carried out a series of resuscitation measures, but it was beyond hope. At 11:38 p.m., Bruce Lee was officially pronounced dead. The news shocked the entire city in an instant. On the 24th of July, the body was transported from the hospital to the Kowloon Funeral Parlor in Tai Kok Tsui, where a memorial hall was set up. Nearly 30,000 fans crowded the nearby streets, with some even daring to climb onto the signs on the exterior walls of buildings, hoping to bid farewell to their beloved martial arts superstar. On the 3rd of September 1973, the coroner's inquest into Bruce Lee's death commenced at the Tsuen Wan Magistrates Court in Hong Kong. After 7 days of proceedings, 3 male jurors unanimously ruled that Bruce Lee died by misadventure, with the cause of death being a hypersensitive reaction to pain medication resulting in cerebral edema. The pathologist discovered blood clots and an aneurysm in Bruce Lee's brain, and traces of marijuana were found in his stomach, although the court deemed marijuana not lethal. Most people aren't highly sensitive to pain medication. Plus, given Bruce Lee's regular martial arts training, it's common for him to take painkillers after injuries. Hence, many people are skeptical of the explanation provided by the court. Bruce Lee's friend Chuck Norris revealed in 1975 that Bruce Lee had been taking muscle relaxants for an extended period before his death. In 1968, Bruce Lee suffered a spinal dislocation during a weightlifting session, which led to his long-term use of muscle relaxants. Norris believed that it was a chemical reaction between the muscle relaxants and headache medication that caused Bruce Lee's untimely demise. Meanwhile, the American entertainment magazine Variety reported that a group of kidney specialists from Spain believed that Bruce Lee's cause of death was due to excessive water consumption, leading to the kidneys being unable to expel the excess fluid, thus resulting in hyponatremia and his passing. Apart from the cause of death, there's another detail that adds a touch of mystique to Bruce Lee's legendary passing. Bruce Lee himself had predicted his own death. On the 10th of May, 1973, while dubbing for Game of Death at a Hong Kong studio, Bruce Lee suddenly began vomiting, experiencing muscle spasms, and having difficulty breathing, falling into a semi-comatose state, and was rushed to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Hong Kong for treatment. 2 hours later, he regained consciousness, and doctors diagnosed his symptoms as high fever and low blood pressure. After his condition improved, Bruce Lee underwent a medical examination in the United States, but the reports showed everything was normal, and doctors assured Bruce Lee that he was in good health. Consequently, Bruce Lee threw himself back into work without any concerns. While in the United States, Bruce Lee once told Game of Death actor John Saxon, "There may not be another Bruce Lee." Upon returning to the Hong Kong studio, Bruce Lee also told actor Shek Kin, "Uncle Kin, I won't live as long as you do." It seems that Betty Ting Pei was not surprised by Bruce Lee's passing either. She felt that Bruce Lee had always been in poor health since childhood, and practicing martial arts to such an extent had depleted him completely. Those close to Bruce Lee knew that he employed quite advanced fitness methods to maintain his physical condition. For instance, he enjoyed drinking a specially concocted high-protein beverage made from raw beef, 7 eggs, and milk. He also supplemented with various vitamins, consumed royal jelly and ginseng. He even underwent surgery to remove his sweat glands and would use a high-pressure electric muscle vibrator manufactured in Japan to assist with his workouts. This involved attaching wires to the body to rapidly vibrate the muscles. Bruce Lee believed that 10 minutes of vibration was equivalent to 10 hours of regular training. After Bruce Lee's passing, this machine was also banned from sale in Japan. A subsequent Japanese investigation concluded that this training method disrupted the harmony of the body's nervous and physiological systems. In fact, from a scientific perspective, Bruce Lee's passing may have been the result of multiple factors. He attempted to train himself like a machine, but overlooked the body's capacity to endure. However, in the decades following the incident, Betty Ting Pei remained the vilified culprit, with some even speculating that Bruce Lee passed away due to overexcitement during intimate moments with Betty Ting Pei. Others believed Betty Ting Pei deliberately administered painkillers to Bruce Lee. Betty Ting Pei originally came from a well-off family background. Her grandfather, Bao Yulin, was the chief of police in Beiping during the warlord era, and her uncle was Zhang Shuiliang, a Chinese warlord who ruled Manchuria from 1928 to 1936. Before Bruce Lee's passing, she lived carefreely, acting in films. After the incident, the public scrutiny led Ding Pei to adopt a reclusive lifestyle, focusing on religious practices, away from the public eye. However, she never forgot about Bruce Lee. Perhaps, only the two of them truly knew the truth of what happened all those years ago. Moreover, many still believe that there's an eerie resonance between the story told in Bruce Lee's final film, Game of Death, and his own passing. The movie narrates the journey of a warrior who ventures into a 7-story pagoda to obtain a legendary treasure. After a fierce battle, he reaches the top only to receive an ancient saying, "Life is but a journey to await death." Little did they know, this phrase would foreshadow Bruce Lee's own fate, leaving the film tragically unfinished, a poignant reminder of what might have been. Though Bruce Lee has passed away, the discourse surrounding his martial arts prowess continues unabated even to this day. Many people first got acquainted with Bruce Lee through movies, and given that movies have an element of fiction, there's been quite a debate about the authenticity of Bruce Lee's martial arts prowess. So, how did he really become so skilled, and were his abilities genuine? Well, let's start from the beginning and discuss Bruce Lee's upbringing. Bruce Lee's father, Lee Hoi Chuen, was a renowned Cantonese opera comedian in Hong Kong, part of the quartet known as the Four Great Clowns of Cantonese Opera, alongside Ban Ri Kam, Lau Hak Wai, and Yip Fuk Fu. In 1939, Lee Hoi Chuen, along with his wife Grace Ho and their 3 children, embarked on a tour to the United States from Hong Kong for performances. At that time, Grace was already pregnant with Bruce Lee. Lee Hoi Chuen chose to take his family with him on tour because the Second Sino-Japanese War had already begun, and he was concerned for their safety. In 1940, Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco's Chinatown. According to U.S. nationality law, he automatically acquired American citizenship. Bruce Lee's original name was actually Lee Jun Fan. Later, Hong Kong cartoonist Unicorn Chan gave him the stage name Bruce Lee because Bruce Lee was born in the Year of the Dragon, during the Hour of the Dragon according to the Chinese zodiac. Due to his father's connections, Bruce Lee made his debut in the Cantonese film Golden Gate Girl at just 3 months old, making him a child star of sorts. In 1941, Bruce Lee returned to Hong Kong with his parents and appeared in over 20 Hong Kong films. During this time, he developed a passion for cha-cha dancing and even won the championship at the Hong Kong's Crown Colony Cha-Cha Championship. Although Bruce Lee came from a relatively affluent background, Hong Kong during that time was marked by social unrest. Bruce frequently skipped school and got into fights, eventually leading to his expulsion. He was physically frail from a young age, so his father, Lee Hoi Chuen, taught him Tai Chi for self-defense and physical strength. At the age of 13, Bruce Lee lost a fight during a gang conflict. Determined to improve, he sought instruction from Ye Wen in Yau Ma Tei's Lai Tak Street to learn Wing Chun. However, he soon grew disinterested, finding Wing Chun too monotonous. It wasn't until he used a Wing Chun technique, the straight punch, to defeat an opponent in a fight that he realized its effectiveness. He quickly returned to training with renewed dedication. Bruce Lee, who had an affinity for novelty, naturally wasn't content with just learning Wing Chun. He delved into various martial arts disciplines such as Hung Ga, Fujian White Crane, Praying Mantis Power Fist Form, Tai Chi, Tam Tui, Shaolin Kung Fu, and Jeet Kune Do, exploring a wide array of fighting styles. But if you play with fire, you're going to get burned. In a street fight, Bruce Lee injured the son of a triad leader, prompting retaliation from the underworld. Concerned about the chaos in Hong Kong, Bruce's father, Li Hoi Chuen, swiftly arranged for him to return to the United States in 1959 through a trusted connection, hoping Bruce would mend his combative nature there. 2 years later, Bruce Lee enrolled at the University of Washington in the United States, majoring in drama, where he also met his future wife, Linda. In 1962, during his second year at university, Bruce, still keen on martial arts, rented a corner of the campus parking lot, hung up a sign that read, Bruce Lee Martial Arts Studio, and began practicing martial arts himself while also teaching Westerners the art. Bruce Lee already had a foundation in Oriental martial arts and had also been exposed to many Western combat techniques in the United States. So he wondered, could he create a hybrid martial art? Karate lacked throws, judo lacked striking, and traditional kung fu was constrained by fixed stances and routines. If he could combine the strengths of each, could he create a new, more flexible combat technique? Bruce Lee combined traditional Chinese martial arts with modern Western combat, basing his research on Wing Chun to create his own martial art called Jeet Kune Do. The concept of this martial art is simple, practical, and direct. He explained Jeet Kune Do as the art of fighting without fighting, meaning to defeat the opponent before they even have a chance to strike, ensuring they never get the opportunity to throw a punch. This innovative martial art of Jeet Kune Do is not only visually sharp and impressive, but also highly practical. Many people living in violent neighborhoods have learned it for self-defense. Its influence is also evident in today's UFC fights. In 1964, Bruce Lee was invited to attend the Long Beach International Karate Championships in California, USA, as a guest performer. During the opening ceremony, he showcased his Jeet Kune Do and Wing Chun techniques, leaving both competitors and spectators in awe. The speed of Lee's punches was mesmerizing. During this competition, Bruce Lee also met the Taekwondo master Jhoon Rhee. After becoming friends, Rhee taught Lee the side kick, while Lee taught Rhee the art of punching without telegraphing. But the competition also brought enemies to Bruce Lee. In August 1965, he received a challenge from Wong Jack Man. Wong was skilled in Xingyi Quan, Northern Shaolin Kung Fu, and Tai Chi, and along with other Chinese martial artists, he was displeased with Bruce Lee teaching martial arts to Westerners. In the challenge, it was stated, "If you lose, you are not allowed to continue teaching martial arts to non-Chinese." Despite the numerous names of Chinese-American martial artists listed on the challenge, Bruce Lee was not afraid. According to the recollection of Bruce Lee's wife Linda, on the day of the official showdown, Bruce Lee only took 3 minutes to knock his opponent to the ground. He asked Wong Jack Man, "Do you want to give up?" To which Wong Jack Man replied, "I concede."
It lasted about 3 minutes. Bruce got the fellow down to the ground and said, "Do you give up? Do you give up?" And he said, "I give up."
Linda also added in the interview that afterwards, Bruce Lee was very dissatisfied with his performance, feeling he should have ended the fight even more quickly. Well, talk about not letting your opponent catch a break.
However, it upset Bruce mightily that he had not dispatched that man in under 3 minutes.
In the late 1960s, Bruce Lee intensified his physical training, delving into sports science knowledge and having custom fitness equipment made by friends. He flattened a baseball glove, stuffed it with padding, creating a punching target, a rather innovative approach. This regimen sculpted his physique, giving him strong, defined muscles. Through relentless training, Lee could seamlessly translate mental concepts into physical actions. In 1967, the Long Beach International Karate Championships extended another invitation to Bruce Lee. This time, he showcased 2-finger push-ups, the 1-inch punch, leaving behind the only practical combat footage of himself. During the demonstration of the 1-inch punch, Bruce Lee stood upright, his right foot forward, right knee slightly bent, facing a volunteer. Bruce's right fist was positioned about 2.5 centimeters away from the volunteer's chest. Suddenly, without moving his body, he forcefully punched, sending the volunteer flying 3 meters backward, crashing onto a chair behind him, eliciting thunderous applause from the audience. The volunteer who took the punch recalled afterward, "I told Bruce Lee not to do such demonstrations again. After he hit me, my chest was in unbearable pain, forcing me to take time off at home." Next, Bruce Lee sparred with the world karate champion Vic Moore. Lee told Moore that he would throw a straight punch at his face, and Moore's task was to just touch Lee's fist to indicate blocking. Lee emphasized to Moore that he didn't even have to grab his fist. Just touching his hand would count as Moore's win. Witnessing Bruce Lee take a few steps back, he inquired if Moore was ready. With Moore's nod of approval, Bruce swiftly advanced, entering striking range, and delivered a blow towards Moore's face, stopping just short of contact. In several attempts, Moore seemed unable to touch Bruce Lee. Even at quarter speed, the camera struggled to capture Bruce Lee's fist. However, years later, in an interview, Vic Moore claimed that he did catch Bruce Lee's punch and defeated him. Moore stated, "Just because Bruce Lee can act in movies doesn't mean he can actually fight in real life. Not only did I beat Bruce Lee, but I know many national champions who have the ability to defeat him."
I was tagging him every right. I was sweeping him. I was hitting him. Boom. Wherefore God.
Was there an audience? Were there anybody that's seen that?
There was a few people there. There had to be 3 or 4 cameramans that was there, so I know somebody got it. Now, just get back to your question. Just because he makes movies does not make him really that fast for real.
Actually, the ongoing battle between the fervent Bruce Lee fans, known as the Lee fans, and the detractors, dubbed as the Lee haters, has never ceased over the years. Their contention isn't about whether Bruce Lee knows Kung Fu, but rather if he possesses real combat prowess. For instance, his airborne leg swings showcased in movies may look impressive, but in practical combat, they raise significant issues such as telegraphing movements, exaggerated motions, susceptibility to imbalance, and exposing one's back to the opponent. In recent years, there's been a widely circulated anecdote online about Jackie Chan being interviewed. The host asked him, "If you were to compete with Bruce Lee, who would win?" Jackie Chan supposedly replied, "Let him win!" When pressed further about what he meant by let, Jackie Chan allegedly said this during an interview on the Hong Kong Phoenix TV show.
就如果状态一样的话，打起来会怎么样？
让他赢吧。
大
哥宽厚。
Jackie Chan explained on the show, "I'm taller than Bruce Lee, and my physique is stronger than his. My bones are thicker." Jackie Chan also commented on working with Bruce Lee in a movie, saying, "He was a good person, but he was overly praised by those around him."
他是单股，我是双股。
什么叫单股双股？这都不懂。
你是单股，你看我们这就是双股。
哦，这儿有两个骨头。
对，
这符合科学吗？这我们这是骨头细的。
骨细骨粗。
哦，你的骨头粗，
我的骨头粗。
哦，
现在已经把李小龙都神化了。
是吗？
我们以前跟他拍过电影，
你觉得他是怎么样？
很好，非常好的一个人。但是呢，是给旁边的人给捧坏了。
Regarding combat sports, I'm not overly knowledgeable, but objectively speaking, during Bruce Lee's era, various forms of martial arts competitions were still in their infancy. Bruce Lee didn't undergo extensive real combat tests, which may be why his combat abilities remain a subject of controversy to this day. While some may question Bruce Lee's combat prowess, nobody doubts that he is an idol transcending borders. He isn't just China's Bruce Lee or Asia's Bruce Lee. He's the world's Bruce Lee. Many admire him not just as a martial artist, but also as a remarkable philosopher. In 1971, Bruce Lee made a guest appearance in Longstreet. In the movie, he played himself and delivered a memorable line about water.
Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or creep or drip or crash. Be water, my friend.
In the same year, Bruce Lee appeared on The Pierre Berton Show and expressed that the dialogue about water encapsulated his philosophical beliefs. His ability to engage in such philosophical reflection was greatly inspired by his master, Yip Man. At the age of 13, Yip Man taught Bruce Lee martial arts, imparting not only the techniques of Wing Chun, but also integrating Taoist philosophy and the principles of yin and yang into the curriculum. Yip Man often used elements from nature to illustrate his teachings. For instance, he would say, "The oak tree is sturdy, while bamboo is delicate. However, a strong wind may break the oak tree, but not the bamboo, because bamboo possesses resilience that the oak tree lacks, and it can sway with the wind." This statement carries a profound philosophical essence. Born in the year of the dragon and the hour of the dragon, Bruce Lee belonged to the category of Bazai full yang individuals, which meant his temperament often blazed like fire. Master Yip Man always instructed Bruce Lee to understand the importance of gentleness, fluidity, and flexibility, emphasizing that one should not solely pursue strength and victory. Once, Yip Man taught Bruce Lee how to relax his mind and forget himself, enabling him to adapt to whatever comes. Yip Man advised against being too attached to punching strategies and techniques, suggesting that the highest level of martial arts involves reacting intuitively to an opponent's actions. One mustn't try to go against nature or always be in opposition to problems, but instead learn to maneuver around them and ultimately control them. However, at that time, Bruce Lee was still young and didn't understand how being gentle could lead to victory. Seeing that Bruce Lee couldn't understand, Yip Man advised him to take a break from martial arts and reflect on his own issues. With nothing to do, Bruce Lee went rowing to pass the time. While on the lake, he grew increasingly frustrated and began pounding the water forcefully. Suddenly, he had a revelation. "Isn't the lake water explaining the principles of martial arts to me? I hit it, but it remains unharmed. Despite my exertion, it remains undamaged." Then Bruce Lee attempted to scoop up a handful of water, but it slipped through his fingers. He realized, water is the softest substance in the world. People can contain it in small bottles, making it seem weak. But in reality, it can penetrate the hardest materials on Earth. That's it. I want to be like water. On that day, Bruce Lee fully grasped the essence of water. Water's nature is fluid. It finds paths around, and even through obstacles. Bruce Lee thought of this as limitless. Water adapts to its surroundings. While it may seem calm and still, it can flow in any possible direction. This laid the foundation for Bruce Lee's core philosophy in Jeet Kune Do, using no way as a way, having no limitation as limitation. Everything comprises both limited and limitless aspects. In the realm of the limited, create the limitless. In the realm of the limitless, control the limited. When water encounters an obstacle, it remains calm and patient, yet poised for action. Once the obstacle is removed, it immediately flows forth without hesitation. Therefore, Bruce Lee remarked that in the face of competition and obstacles, water is always relaxed yet prepared. This parallels his calm yet explosive martial arts style, exhibiting a similar effectiveness. Perhaps it was this understanding of water that sparked Bruce Lee's interest in philosophy. In 1961, he enrolled at the University of Washington in Seattle, majoring in drama while also studying philosophy, psychology, and other subjects. Subsequently, he applied philosophy to martial arts, gradually developing his own unique style. Apart from the wisdom of water, Bruce Lee has uttered numerous inspiring quotes that have enlightened movie fans, such as, "To become immortal, one must first live a life worth remembering. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. And remember, my friend, the usefulness of a cup lies in its emptiness." Bruce Lee became an unforgettable legend globally, not just because of his martial arts prowess, but due to his philosophical outlook that transcended East and West, coupled with his forward-thinking mindset. It's these qualities that make him an eternal icon, with his martial arts skills merely scratching the surface of his true charisma.